that means that I am now the owner of the first legit competition-approved 300 kilo squat in the Philippines. Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back. It's competition day finally, and I'm on my way to the venue while I'm about to leave. So I'm very excited about this meet, as you guys all know by now. Been training for it since like December. So I'm really excited. The last time I competed was over a year and a half ago. That was back in October 2019. So I'm looking to set some PRs and hopefully I do well. You know, the ultimate goal is to improve and set PRs. Alright, let's talk a little bit about goals for the meet. So yeah, PRs are a must. Winning is secondary. My goal is really to set PRs. That said, I'm looking to squat at least 300, bench 160, and then deadlift 272 and a half. Alright, so those are the numbers I'm looking to hit. Hopefully I get them. So I'll see you guys there. Stay tuned. Go Mark! Let's go on the board! National record holder! On the board!
There. 160 kilograms for Los Cardoso. Good.
Alright, so here we are, competition time. So I opened squat with, actually the original plan was to open squat with 260 kilos, but I think there was an error in the encoding or something. They put 265 and then it was on the bar. I saw it and I was telling my coach, he was right beside me, that we put 260 but they loaded 265 and then we were just like, oh, what the heck, let's just do it. And then so I did 265, really lightweight. So happy with how that went up. Even shocking a bit because I squatted 260 or 265 a week prior for my opening attempts. It's something I did in the gym and it didn't move very well. In fact, it seemed it moved pretty slow. We weren't happy, my coach and I were not happy with how it moved, so we were thinking we should lower it down a bit, okay? But anyway, it was loaded on the bar. 265, I went for it, went up really good. Called for 285 on my next attempt. This is a record-breaking attempt. Previous record was set at 281 by myself. Yeah, that was back in October 2019. That was the last competition that I joined and the last Raw competition before the pandemic hit us. Okay, so after 285, moved really well, moved pretty fast actually if you ask me. So I did it, called for 300. Alright, I just want to talk about the 300 just a little bit. I was kind of nervous that I wouldn't hit the 300 because although I did it last year, just a little bit over a year ago, I squatted 300. You can check that video out. When I did that, I trained specifically just for the squat. Okay, so I ran an experimental squat program by a good friend of mine, a powerlifting coach as well. And the program was solely squat. Totally no benching, totally no deadlifting, just squatting, okay? So I made it, I squatted 300 back then. But now, it's different this time around, okay? So obviously powerlifting is not just about the squatting, it's not just about the benching, unless you're joining a bench-only meet. And it's not only about deadlifting. So it's 3 lifts, it's all about the total, okay? So I was nervous because, as I said, even if I hit the 300 last year, I was only training for squat. So there's added fatigue from bench, there's added fatigue from deadlift. There's a lot of factors, you know. So I was kind of nervous. I'll tell you guys. I think this is the competition I was the most quiet. Like after my attempt, I get into a chair, I just sit down the whole time, just getting my head in the game, keeping it in there. So called for 300 on the last attempt, made it. It actually moved really well. Like there was no sticking point. I never stopped moving. I never stopped moving upward. I did give it a shout. I normally do that when I feel the bar is the bar has stopped moving. As like I said in the previous 300 that I did, I felt the bar stopped moving, so I just screamed and then continued going up. So this time around, since I was nervous, I just gave it a shout, just so that to make sure, like on the way up, right at the middle, that's normally my sticking point. I just gave it a shout and then moved really well. Never stopped. The bar never stopped moving. Okay. So I was really happy about that. It's a squat record. That means that I am now the owner of the first legit competition approved 300 kilo squat in the Philippines. Proud to say. Come on guys, I guess that deserves a like and maybe a sub. Don't be shy. It's right down there. Big red button, thumbs up. So I've always been proud of my squat, and it just feels good, to have raised the bar in Philippine powerlifting in my last meet with the PAP for the foreseeable future. Okay, so bench. This is the lift. If you watch my streams on Twitch, this is the lift that I'm most excited about because in training, I feel like it's where I've made the most gains. Okay, so for bench, I originally planned to open with 142 and a half kilos or like 145, but I didn't anticipate that fatigue from squat. So coach and I agreed to reduce it to 137 and a half. Okay, again, focusing on the total, looking at the big picture. It's easy to jump up in weight, but you can't go down. So ensure those first attempts, guys. Always remember that when you're competing. Okay, so 137 and a half went up very well. Coach was calling for, coach called for 142 and a half. Okay, for the second attempt. It's a 5 kilo jump. It's a bit smaller than what I'm normally used to. I normally go up like 7.5 kilos or 10 kilos during bench. Sometimes even more, like 12 and a half. But yeah, again, he's the coach. Listen to your coach, guys. So 142 and a half, still moving well. Coach was calling for 147 and a half kilos, but I wanted to hit 150 at least because, come on, 150 looks better than 147 and a half, right? Anyway, so he agreed. 150 moved well. Not the best, not the fastest bench you've seen, but I still got the lift, good lift. New PR on bench. Previous PR was 142 and a half kilos, so that's a 7.5 kilo PR on bench, which is, I'm happy about that. So deadlift is something that I kind of just cruised on, just went with the flow sort of during training. The heaviest I pulled was probably something like 200 kilos or even less in the deadlift. Okay, but this is the first, not the first time, but this is one of the rare times that I did not reduce my first attempt during deadlift. In previous competitions, like, I don't know if it's just being nervous, or I'm really that tired, but this is the first time I went with the planned first attempt at 220 kilos. And that's surprising because this is also the first meet wherein I didn't have anything to eat during the meet. I mean, I'm used to squatting and then having like a bar of chocolate, and then after bench having like rice or like a burger or whatever, just to fuel me for the next lift. But I don't know. This is the first time I didn't do it, so it's kind of ironic how I was able to stick to my first attempt during deadlift. Okay, so 220 kilos, moved really fast, pulled that for like a speed rep. Coach was calling for something like 230, 235 for the second attempt. I told him just go ahead and put 250. That's my previous PR, and I'm looking at a certain number for my third attempt. So I was like, slap on 250. Again, he agreed, and then 250 went well. Okay, not as fast as the first attempt, obviously, but it still moved pretty well. And then he was telling me like 260, I think, or even 257 and a half. I can't remember anymore for the third attempt. And then I really wanted to hit 272 and a half kilos. You guys saw that at the start of the video. The reason for that is I would have belonged in the 600 pound deadlift club. It's just a certain milestone, you know, that powerlifters aim to achieve at some point. So he agreed. Again, there's nothing to lose in the placing, and basically it was risk free. So he went ahead and put on 272 and a half kilos, but it was a bit too heavy. Actually, I believe I could have gotten it. I just lacked balance at the top. I lost it right at the top, and seeing the video just made me feel worse about myself because, you know, I was right there. I was pulling it, and then I just missed the lockout because I lost balance and almost fell on my back. But you know, all good, still happy. I could easily have gotten 9 out of 9 had I put on like 260 or even 265 on my third attempt, but you know, I wanted to hit a certain number and there was nothing to lose. I mean, my place was secured. There were only 2 of us in the weight category. So with nothing to lose, I decided to go on ahead and attempt what I wanted to attempt, and didn't happen that time, so maybe next time. Alright, so I got my squat goal, which was 300 kilos. Missed bench by 10 kilos, though I still PR'd at 7.5 kilos. Missed deadlift as well. But you know, I know the deadlift strength is there. I'm good for another 10-15 kilos on the deadlift. And I went 8 out of 9, which is probably like my best performance. This meet is definitely my best performance. I'd say that so far. Went 8 out of 9, totaled 700 kilos, which is a, let me compute that. 700 kilo total is a 26.5 kilo PR. That's really a big jump from 1.5 years ago. And 7.5 kilos is something that I've been chasing for a while now. I mean, 700 kilos total is something I've been chasing for a while now. So I'm really happy, despite not hitting the bench and deadlift goals, or even if I didn't win gold, I still feel like I won because I beat myself. Again, guys, that's the goal. That's the real goal of powerlifting. Just compete against yourself, get better and get better and get better. So 26.5 kilo PR, really good performance. I'm happy overall with how I did. Alright guys, so before ending the video, of course, I just want to thank everyone who was behind me during this competition. First and foremost, of course, is the Nasty Coach. He has been guiding me since December and really has helped me put this performance together. So thank you, and we'll drink soon. To Raya and the rest of the Powerlifting Association of the Philippines, I think that the meet was well organized. You know, despite our current situation and despite the restrictions, I think that it was safe enough for everyone, and that we were, you know, the meet was well organized. It's one of the meets that I will remember definitely going forward. Ninong Charlemagne, owner of Bistro Charlemagne, the best restaurant here in Metro Manila. If you haven't eaten at Bistro Charlemagne, guys, I swear, check it out. But this guy, he's always been there, all out support, never ending support. He went out of his way just to come watch me, come support me, and I appreciate him for that. Thank you for that. Mr. Pao Bisunya, also from Gold's Gym. He trains at Zest, and sometimes in Golds we get to see each other there. Thanks, man, for the footage, for the awesome footage. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming through. Of course, I can't forget my Gayanes Gorillas family, my wife and my family, who I know you guys couldn't make it, and I understand, but I felt you guys, your support, and that you were cheering me on from the live stream and everything. So thank you guys, and also for the whole powerlifting community in the Philippines. This one is for all of you guys. It's been a great 6 years, but it has to be goodbye for now, and I'll be back. I'll be back soon. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Big red button again down there. Alright, don't forget guys, we live to eat and we exercise for the extra rice. Alright guys, so I just want to take this opportunity to ask you guys to send some prayers up for a fellow lifter of mine who had to unfortunately bump out of the competition because of severe cramps. He's now hospitalized and I hope you get well soon, man. Gotta get back on that platform.